All right, so today we are working on my old SJ 410. It's a Suzuki. It's before the Jimny came out, but it basically became the Jimny. And this one's kind of unique. It's got a 3K Toyota motor in it, and I'm gonna rebuild the motor. And I'm going to start though with overhauling the carburetor. I'm going to overhaul the carburetor, and then I'm going to put it back in just to make sure it's still running good, so that way when I rebuild the motor, if something's not running, I'm going to know it's not the carburetor. And I'm just going to start off here pulling this air filter off. This is a motorcycle air filter, but when I bought this, it just had like an oiled can put over this with holes punched in it and some paper. So I mean, it's pretty hard to find some parts here. I'm in the Philippines right now, and yeah, sometimes it's pretty hard to find some parts. But the Toyota 3K, I've been okay. I can find some parts for it. I was able to get a gasket set, which will allow me to tear this motor down and at least put it back together and replace any parts if I can find them. Well, we're doing the carburetor, so first thing we're just going to unplug the hose. This first hose here is coming out of the top of the vacuum advance for the distributor. So we're just going to slip that off here. Got another vacuum hose right here. This one goes to the front of the vacuum advance. And when I first got it, there was actually nothing hooked up into this back tube here, but I just got a hose and ran it there. Now we're going to need to disconnect the throttle. Pretty easy here. Slide that up. Pull out this little pin here, and then now the fuel line. Looks like that's a 13. No, it's actually a 14. Sorry, I got this right here. Should do the trick. You grab a 14 real quick. So this one actually goes over to a hose clamp and goes in the top of the pump here. Probably gonna have a little bit of spillage on this coming out. Okay, not too much. Just kind of twist that up. Zip tie a little baggie on that later. Just gonna move these now. So I'm just going to remove the carburetor here, and I'll take it to a work area where I can do some work on it and get it all cleaned up, disassembled, and then reassembled. So we're going to go through the whole process here. Make sure you don't miss anything. I've probably done about 30 carbs in my whole life. This back one was pretty loose, which isn't really a good thing. Could be part of the reason why it wasn't idling. I was having some troubles where it basically was just not wanting to idle low. I had to keep it revved up to like 1500, 1800 RPMs. this is definitely a custom job. They got some welding there. And this last one here, this one's actually a bolt because it was stripped out on me. Looks like that might be a little bit smaller size. Extra water there. One of the reasons why I'm rebuilding this is because I've been having an issue with foam in the radiator. Don't think I was gripping anything down there. 10mm, I wasn't thinking I'd need the 10. Okay, so I am actually turning it here. So like I was saying, I've probably done about 30 carbs in my life. I think the hardest one I did was off a Kawasaki Ninja 900. It's 1985, and that one was difficult because it's actually 4 carbs stacked together, and then the hardest part was getting them all to be synced perfectly. I mean, everything's got to be perfect on them for them all to run in unison. All right. One last thing here. I got to disconnect the solenoid. This is just the idle solenoid. I got a new one of these as well since it didn't come with the rebuild kit. Now, should this... There we go. Okay. Slide out that bolt there. Already I can see a little bit of an issue. That's a lot of grime there for that top plate. Inside looks like it's definitely had some contamination at some point. You can see there's like some little bits down there, those dark spots. Feels like plastic or something. You can see red dye. It's from the premium fuel here. Top plate should come off. So I'm going to want to clean this up real good too. You can see there's a gasket here on the bottom. And ideally, I didn't see one of these in the kit, but I'm going to want to replace all this stuff even if I got to make the gasket myself. So it's kind of hard to get all the parts you need here sometimes, but that looks alright. A little bit of rust, but nothing glaring. It doesn't look like we've got any sort of area that's been carbonized or anything from lack of sealant. On the top plate it looks like we might have had a little bit of something there. Kind of just a lot of, doesn't look nice. I'll say that at least. So alright, so now off to rebuilding it. Alright, so we got the 3K carburetor here. And we're just going to do a quick tear down of this. So basically, just going to start by taking everything apart. And then I'm going to clean everything. And then I'm going to use my kit that I got. And then I'll put everything back together. I kind of try and keep things together for the most part. So that I don't have to worry too much about where stuff goes. So I'm just going to kind of keep things in order as much as I can. If it was something a little more complex, I'd probably even have some baggies set out, and I'd label stuff and put it in the baggies, just so that way I knew exactly where everything went. And when you're taking off the plates and stuff, it's a good idea to kind of stagger everything and loosen everything. Usually that last one's going to be the hardest, and it's not really a good idea to take out the screws all the way one by one, but instead loosen them all first, just a little bit, because you might have to go through and retighten a couple to kind of redistribute the weight more evenly so you can get stuff off there. If you got a drill, it'll make things go a little bit faster, but totally not necessary. And I can tell already that this has been taken apart before, just from a little bit of tiny bit of stripping in some of these screws. And some of them are a little bit crunchy in there. Feels like there's some deposits inside of there somewhere. And you want to be more or less as careful as you can when you're separating stuff, just in case your kit happens to not have one of the gaskets. So I'm just going to check and make sure everything's looking pretty good. Okay, we got our float there, which I feel like has been sticking, but you know, it looks pretty good. Might have just been some dirt going on in there, so I'm going to put these screws back in here. That's just going to help me remember where everything went. See, this one has an extra washer on it, kind of weird. Where I'm at, it's super loud, so I'm going to set this kind of like this. You can see there's some areas already that need a little bit of cleaning corrosion. This doesn't look too good either. Plunger definitely looks worn out, but it's still revving. So you can see this gasket definitely it's ready for changing. There's corrosion stuff that's kind of going all the way across the gasket in some spots. Most of it looks pretty good, but here inside the bowls and stuff doesn't necessarily look the best. So it's good to know here. Now we're gonna pull out the jets are, pump jets. And one of the issues I was having too when I first started up this car, when I got it and first used it, was these jets here were just like a fountain squirting into the carb and just flooding out my motor. I couldn't get the dang thing started, and I literally just took off the carb, turned it upside down, and then put it back on, and that actually fixed that. In the beginning it was just kind of stirring stuff up. I didn't have a rebuild kit, but you can even look inside the bowl there and see there's quite a bit of gunk down there. It's not horrible, I've seen way worse, but it's definitely not something you want to see. Make sure these are out all the way. And Just kind of pull them out with my magnetized tip here. If they don't come out, it's fine. I do just like to take them out. See, they're different sizes too. Screws are different sizes, so I do want to keep them, kind of remember where they are, so I'll kind of set them off the side in order. They are. Looks like I got different lengths here. So it looks like the two on the side with the solenoid are longer than the other two. This gasket's just in the way here. This one coming out smoothly, which is fine. Here. Get that out. Okay. I'm gonna take these out. So this gasket, you can see, was actually came apart, and also it didn't even look like it's quite the right gasket. That hole doesn't line up there. Hopefully the one I got is the right size. I'll just break this loose a little bit. There we go. Okay, and you can see this also has a longer, so you can see those were like that. This one is a little bit longer. This is the right size gasket there, so that can definitely lead to some issues. I'm just going to go ahead and put these screws back in here so I remember which ones go where. And obviously while I'm cleaning these parts, I'll do it one at a time, so I can just take these screws out, clean the part, and then put it back together. So looks like we're getting all in here pretty good. Everything looks pretty nice and come apart smoothly. So there's a screw in here. Gonna take that out. Everything's brass and looking pretty good so far. Got some jets. I'm gonna need a smaller flathead for this here. But yeah, things are looking pretty good. You can see on the bottom here, that corrosion doesn't look too good in there. It's pretty bad actually looking. So it's kind of interesting. But we definitely just want to take this all the way apart. Now, I'm not necessarily going to take off the butterfly valves. I might if I'm having trouble getting it totally cleaned out. But you can see there's some corrosion in there. The hole's pretty big still, but there's definitely some corrosion up in there. And this one looks totally corroded out, and it's definitely completely stuck in there. Let's see if I can get just a little bit better. See, I've got a nice working area here. Got some plastic down. Oh yeah, that does not want to come out at all. Not surprised considering how it looks, so I'm definitely gonna have to get some penetrating oil on that and let it sit for a while. If I can't get that out, it's gonna be not a good thing. So you can see there's quite a bit of corrosion in there though. Definitely needed a cleaning done to it. Let's see if we can get this solenoid off. Looks like it's at 12. Maybe an 11. Or 10. That's 11. Okay. Actually, it's a 12. That first one I tried was a 13. So, get that off of there. Don't want to twist these wires up too much. So let the whole thing turn together. I'm going to replace this, but I'm also going to save it for diagnosis. Basically, I'm going to put the new one in, run the car, make sure everything runs good, because this looks good. And then this car runs good, I'm going to swap this out, make sure with the old one again, and if it doesn't affect anything, then I'll put the new one in there still, but I'll keep the old one as a backup so that I have a spare part if need be. So I'm not really going to worry about this stuff too much. I am going to clean this all really good, but everything's pretty smooth, nothing's sticking when I need this stuff. So I'm going to clean around it and stuff, but I'm not going to like try and take off any of these things on the side or remove this. It did seem like this was backing out on me, so I might do something with that. Maybe snip off a piece of that string if I'm still having problems with that. But it did seem like this was vibrating loose. I'm not really sure what the best fix or if that was actually happening. I think it might have been someone else with carb. It just seemed like I would tighten this thing down and then I'd have troubles with the idling low. But then again, the next day it would be idling high again. So I'm just not really sure what was going on with this thing, and that's one of the reasons why I'm rebuilding it. You can see these are on here crazy tight as well. Oh man, some of this stuff is just really, really tight on here. Wow, I mean, these are crazy tight. I'm not trying to strip anything here. Looks like that's already kind of been stripped before. Looks like I can get a little wrench on there too if I need to get those off. So is that an 8? Yeah. Okay, try this wrench here. There we go. So obviously this is probably a specific reason why they have this, so you can loosen with the wrench. These are probably, maybe they tighten over time, or they just need to be really tight, but I didn't want to even try and play with that Phillips and start stripping stuff out, so I just went straight to the wrench. Now I can finish loosening these up a little bit faster here with the Phillips star screw. Okay. Alright. Let's see what we got here. I think those were the only two holding that on there. Yeah. Seems to be the case, so let's kind of get something here to do a little bit of playing. I'm not doing anything real crazy, just nice and gentle. Don't let it pop loose. And double check-in stuff here. Making sure there isn't anything else holding this together. I'm assuming this piece on the bottom doesn't tap into this upper body, so I'm going to try get that loose. It's able to kind of get this bottom part to break free, but it does seem like there might be something else holding this together. Not sure if that could be Actually, it does look like this does thread all the way too. I'm sure that's what's holding this one on here. Looking at the length of it, it does look like it's holding that, tapping into that. So I'm gonna have to get that loose. I'm gonna try doing it one more time here. See if I can get it. But I think I might be stopping right here and picking up some penetrating lubricant tomorrow. Oh, there we go. Okay. Got it. So, not a super amount. Definitely can't see through there. I can see through there pretty easily. Holding up to the light, I don't really see any sort of corrosion on the inside of it, but that just comes apart nice and easy now. With this gasket, pretty crummy situation. So this bottom's pretty dirty, which means there's a good chance that this bottom gasket here was leaking. Just kind of looks like that was the case, which letting a little bit of air in there is going to kind of encourage your car to run lean. But yeah, otherwise things are looking pretty good. You can see this valve is a little bit dirty. This butterfly valve is super clean. This is the standard one, and when you punch it down all the way, you know, that's this other valve opening up. So this is like 3/4 throttle, and that's the rest of the way. The other 25 or 30% or so of the throttle opens up that other valve there, and you can see this needle here. It's kind of hard to see it in there, but it doesn't really look like it was super dirty. But we're still gonna pull this out completely, and we'll be cleaning in there real good. This is the idle or adjust, so this kind of adjusts your lean rich mixture when it's idling, and pretty clean. Definitely a little bit of scarring, so it'll be good to get that changed out just for smoothness and consistency, but doesn't look like it was damaged much or anything. So see if I can get a little bit smaller screwdriver. This is definitely going to be one of the important things to clean, are these guys here. And obviously I'll be replacing the jets. So you can see I got a new solenoid here. Genuine quality. Looks the same, except this has a single wire. This one has a double. So I'm sure this one's just grounding out to the carb, whereas this other one isn't. Kind of annoying when parts come like this. It's supposed to be exact replacement, OEM replacement, and then of course you get something that's a little bit more different than you'd want it to be. The sizing and everything. See, this one's also just a tiny bit longer, so I don't even know. Looks like without this washer, so this washer needs to be added on here, and then that puts them in the same height. But I don't even like this already, with the different connector on there and no sort of indication as to what it is. This is definitely not what was shown in the picture when I ordered the part, so might be reordering that. We'll see how it works. I mean, it's pretty simple though, just a simple magnetic switch. It's got the same holes in it. These holes are definitely a tiny bit bigger, but that doesn't make a huge difference. You can adjust in other areas. And this is our rebuild kit here, so Things are looking pretty consistent for starters, so that's good. Got the plunger and everything. Yeah, I'm just gonna open this up, make sure that this gasket is the right size as well. Because if not, I'm gonna order a new one ASAP. But so yep, everything lines up. Except there's an extra hole. Actually, you know what? Things are not lining up. So we got a hole over here where there isn't one, and then we got this hole lining up at the wrong spot, which is kind of funny because this gasket also has a random hole where there isn't supposed to be one. So yeah, just a little bit off, pretty annoying, but that's pretty typical for products here that I've noticed in the Philippines. Things are kind of just a little bit off. It's like you get a lot of the defect stuff out here. So this one is also different. There we go, okay. It's closer, but still, I wouldn't say it's a winner. These holes are just a little bit off on here as well. Pretty annoying because this is a Toyota 3K carburetor rebuild kit. This is a Toyota 3K carburetor, so this is also a Toyota 3K switch. Even though it doesn't look like this, it doesn't look like what came in the picture that I wanted, but that's just how things are. It's not a huge deal. You can always just use a little bit of gasket sealer on this if need be. That stuff works out pretty good. But the important thing is we're going to get this all cleaned. We're going to get new sealant in there, and everything will be sealed up nice and tight. So just going to get all these jets out of here. It looks like this screwdriver is stripped in here. Yeah, you can see that's broken there, so I gotta do a little bit of a workaround here, but that's okay. As is the automotive world, kind of gotta get things going here. That out, and it looks like we'll have to clean off that gasket actually before we can get it. This gasket is just disintegrating, so it's been on here for a long time. Come back here with the razor. Step 2. Don't want to lose that bearing. That ball just fell out of there. Get that back in there. Okay, so this is one of the jets here. Looks pretty good, but you never know. There could be a little tiny bit of something inside there. So we got this carb kit, replaced all those jets. That's the most important thing in there. So as long as those fit, I'll be pretty happy. And yeah, you gotta take off this bolt. Get in there. Looks like it's 14. 14 here. This one would have probably been a little bit nicer just to take it off earlier when you kind of have the whole carb, it's not apart. This keeps falling out of here, so I'm just going to take these here and set it off this side. There's a little ball and weight that goes on top of that ball over here, and that's just for the vacuum jet there. Don't want to lose that because don't want to lose it. Looks like we definitely got that in the kit too though. So that's good. Let's see if we can get this off here. Don't want to push down on anything. It's gonna damage anything. But that is definitely stuck on there pretty darn good. Which is good, it's on there tight. It's definitely a point that will leak on you. Something a little bit more, gives me a little bit more torque. Put this down. Okay. Got loose. Get that out. And we can get this flathead in here. Pull out another jet that's inside of there. So it's real important not to strip any of these jets. And this one's also stuck in here pretty good. So usually the carbs come apart pretty easy. Sometimes though you gotta use some of that breaker fluid. This one's not really wanting to come out too easy. And this is not really an ideal situation to use with this, but I'm just gonna try it. I definitely got plenty of torque on it, so just not really. It's kind of want to pop up on me, so. I'm gonna pause it right now, but it's kind of where we're at for today. So I'm gonna take a razor blade to that, get that all off here, and we're gonna have to pick that up tomorrow. All right, so picking up where I left off last night. For reference, this is the carb kit I got here, and see, I dug up this other screwdriver here, so much easier there. Pull out that little screw. There's anything else in that hole. Got these like rivet things. These here. I'm not sure if those come off. I'll have to look into that. We also have some more here. The jets. That's not what we want. We'll have to come out here. This screwdriver is just a little bit too big. It's too wide. So this is the one we need to use here. These are definitely two different ones. We got a brass one, and this one looks like it's a steel one. They look to be identical though. And this piece looks like it's going to be the harder piece to remove. Looks like It's 10 millimeter. I'm gonna need a deep well, which I don't have any deep wells. Maybe this will. Yeah, see, it's just not gonna fit in there. So I have to find some way to get that one out of there. But everything else has been coming apart really easily. Just need to remove this gasket with a razor blade. Get it all off of here. It's all removed. Pretty good so far. Not seeing any damage done to it from any previous teardowns, which is good news. Someone needs to work on their brakes out there. Coming off here with the old razor blade. Alright. So basically this is the process across the whole thing. I'm not going to bore you all with that. Just remove the rest of this gasket. Get that all out of there. And then do the same down here with this gasket. And then I got a couple wire brushes here. We use these to kind of make sure everything's fully cleaned off. Clean off all the sides. Pull off this side plate here as well. And you just want to tear everything down as much as you can. Get access to it all. Every part that you can take off, you should take off, with the exception of being these kind of things that move on the sides. If you have one that's sticky, if it can come off, great. If you can't, lube it up. If it's still sticky, that might indicate you need to replace the carburetor. And always when you're taking stuff off too, make sure you kind of keep some pressure on it in case it's like a spring actuated. So you don't want to be having stuff come off. That was really sticky in there. So, okay. So, see here, there's a little rubber gasket. We'll pop that out of there. Alright, and get some carb cleaner, you know, really spray all this stuff out. Make sure you get it all cleaned up real good before you put it back together, and everything should work out smooth. So one thing I did want to show too is inside this bigger hole here, I got some pliers like this and reached in there and pulled out this little clip in here that holds in a little tiny ball that's down in there. You see there it is. So that's definitely something you're going to want to pull out too. Make sure that's real nice and clean, and check if you need to clean that ball out. And still kind of stuck on this one here. Maybe it's pretty tight down in there. So I'm definitely gonna have to get that out and get that changed. You can see this got the new part for it right there. Kind of gives me an idea what it looks like. This is it down in there. So I need to get, I do believe it is a 10 mil. It's down there. So I'm just gonna check that now. Make sure it is in fact 10 mil. So yep, that's 10 mil. So I'm gonna have to go get 10 mil deep socket so that I can swap that out and put the new one in. But otherwise, everything's been disassembled. I don't see any other parts or pieces I can remove. There's kind of a brass tube here. That's just some stuff you gotta make sure you clean out real good and get everything all ready for cleaning. Alright, so I've gone through, quite a bit, sprayed a bunch of carb cleaner in here. You can see it's already looking a lot better. I also hit all this with a steel brush. Everything's looking pretty good, nice and clean. And I'm going to move on to this top plate. I realized I didn't cover this, so we've got a few things we're going to have to take off here on this one. We've got this piece right here, which is basically what is pushed down by this. I already took this off. This is the flow inside. Be really careful with this. You don't want to mess with that adjustment at all. It doesn't have any sort of adjustment necessary. This is what these two things together are what keep the gas so that it only comes in when the float is lowered. This is going to have some spring action behind it right here, so you want to make sure you're holding that down when you pull that out. See, it's got a big old spring in there. And then this, my kit does not have one of these, so I'm going to leave that in there. I'm just going to clean around it real good, make sure I get some stuff in there. I might actually pull it off, we'll see what it looks like. And then we got this plunger to take out. This is definitely going to be replaced. It's one of the parts that wears out on these carbs. So you can see I also got this gasket about 95% cleaned off. I'm going to spray that and clean it off a little bit more. It's got a steel base, aluminum top. So I don't necessarily think, obviously these two are going to change a little bit as they heat up. They're not going to expand the same, but I don't think there's going to be any sort of enough of a difference there that you need to worry about that. So this should be 12 millimeter. Actually looks like it might be 11. We got the 11 right here. Oh, it is a 12 actually. That 12 on there. Don't want to bend anything. Get that off of there. And see, it's a little bit grimy in there, not too bad, but that'll allow us to get this plunger out of here. It's got this rubber piece. It all came in the kit. So just pop that out like that. Slide this rubber piece off the top. Drop the plunger out. Okay, now I can totally get this all apart. Some of the areas you want to be focusing is on these jets, making sure you clean out these jets real good from both sides. Spraying down in there. Any sort of little hole that you see, you want to spray all that real good. This hole comes up around and meets up over here, so it's kind of more like an overflow protection, I believe. But yeah, gonna hit this all with the steel brush. See, it already helps clean it up quite a bit. Take a razor blade to these smaller pieces of gasket here. Just get them off of there. And that'll do it. If you have any way to give them a nice long soak in a bath, some people just soak them in gasoline. I'm gonna prefer to spray. This is what I got here, some jet spray, throttle body cleaner. That'll do the trick. Okay, so what we've got here is a little bit of a issue. So I've been looking at the parts that came in the carb kit, and pretty much everything lined up except for this piece here, which was located at the bottom of this bowl here. It was kind of a pain to get out of there. It's not really a good spot for that. It's 9mm, and if you can see here, we got some thread differences, and the spring on this one is definitely more springy. They have a different style, so I'm hoping that at the least the plunger is the same. So I'm going to take this jet off the bottom and put in the new jet from the kit, and while I do that, I'm going to see if I can swap out these steel rods. They look like they're the same diameter, so yeah, I'm going to see if I can swap those out and change the spring. Otherwise, I'm just going to put everything back together the way that I took it apart. There's no special adjustments or anything that changes. So if you just go ahead and while you're putting it back together, you can re-watch that disassembly video, and it'll keep my video a little bit shorter, and it's pretty much self-explanatory. So thanks for tuning in. If you like what you see, like and subscribe. Alright, so we've got these two here. Difference in threads. And this one just uses a little tab at the end of the post. So I'm going to see if I can get this jet out of here. See if I can't get this resolved here. Need a 9mm. Send me the ratchet. It's right here. Alright, so 9. So it looks like we got 10 is the lowest I got on that. And use this here, 8. 10's pretty tight. It might be enough to get this off of here. So I don't actually even have a 9mm. I ended up going down to the local hardware store and just using some of their stock, but let's see if we can't get this jet off of here. Not to damage anything. There we go. Slide that out of here. And I can kind of use like this old jet here, poke it up in there. Okay, so, well, that's weird. I was expecting there to be a little gap, but it's the same all the way around. So now I kind of got a little bit of a risk here. If I take this plunger out and it doesn't fit, I'm gonna be stuck with a broken apart. If I can at least get this circle clip off of here. Clip off, get spring off, slide out this plunger, double check that this jet is going to fit on here, and this other one, and it will. Plunger size looks good. Okay, well, I am going to, I really want to put this new spring on here, so I'm just gonna have to destroy this cap here and get this out of here. There we go. So got the old spring over there. You can see the difference in the springiness. So this is the new spring, old spring. There's a new plunger. Oh no. This plunger doesn't want to go out of here. Man. That's why it's a problem when you don't get the right rebuild kit. So if I want to get that out of there, remove that little bit of an edge. It's just a tiny bit of an edge. So if I want to get this off, I'm gonna have to actually cut the top of this piece of metal here, which is what I'm gonna have to do, because as you can see, these threads are definitely a different size, so I have to go to intermission. Alright, so this stuff's actually pretty soft. I just use these giant pliers here to snip off the end of it. It fell right out of there, so I'm gonna take this new plunger, drop it in there. It feels good. Feels real good, actually. It feels better than it felt in here. This hole's a little bit bigger too. Don't know what that means. Doesn't really matter because it's got a jet on it. But now I can put this new spring on here. Keep that up with this. Drop that on there. And apply the new insert clip again. There we go. Use these little tiny pliers here. Alright. Oh, it feels much more taut, so that'll help just with the quickness there. Might help a little bit of the response and feedback on the carb. So not using this one here, so I'm gonna put it with the old parts, and I'm gonna put this back in the carb here. So I cleaned everything out real good. You can see it's all really clean here, and I definitely had some gunk coming out of there, so it's good I got this switched up. Just a matter of getting this all kind of reassembled. Hoping I didn't do any damage when I was trying to thread this one in there, because I was able to get it in there quite a ways, and I did put a little bit of force on it, but we'll find out when I go to put this back in. Alright, so basically
Definitely don't want to forget to put the jet in the bottom of this before you remount it in there. Alright, so just going to put this jet on, and then I'm just going to reassemble everything, and that'll be that.